Hi friends, welcome to the Anime Book Club podcast. I'm your host, DJ Montague.
And I'm your host, Greg. And here we review anime from classics to brand new stuff, hidden gems, and controversial favorites.
You'll hear all of our hot takes, rants,
and genius observations. So thanks for tuning in, and buckle up because the episode starts now.
By the way, friends, these episodes contain spoilers, so be careful and don't ruin this anime for yourself. You've been warned.
1,000%.
10,000%?
And counting.
Well, Greg, all I ever wanted was a Black Grand National. Fuck being rational. Give them what they asking for.
A minor.
They're not asking for minors. They're asking for the Anime Book Club podcast.
Oh, damn.
Woo!
Okay, does this mean we're starting?
Yeah, let's begin.
Okay.
Because you and I would sit here and just talk about nothing for fucking 12 hours. Before we begin this episode, I want to have a short, minor paragraph that I'm about to say, and then we're done with it. We never talk about it again. The phrase glazing means busting on somebody, right? So, like, when you're glazing somebody, you're not boosting them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just imagine a hot, fresh Krispy Kreme donut going through the glaze.
That's not what we're talking about, Greg.
Oh, okay.
Glazing is something different. Anyways, so when you said, what did you say at the beginning of the episode? You said some reference to.
Yeah, I said a minor.
No, dude, no, that's not.
Are you done with the paragraph?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, and welcome everyone to the Anime Book Club podcast. I am Greg E. Rank Hunter, good smelling, big dumb Jesus, and I am joined by one of the 9 heroes of Tales of Perishing.
Stop glazing.
This is where you say your name.
No glaze. Hi, I'm DJ Montague. Hello, friends.
And today we are going to talk about Solo Leveling, episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Zenshu, episode 5, and the introduction of the 9th hero, which is DJ Montague.
That's crazy. I'm not a dragon.
Or are you?
Maybe.
Ubel Blatt. We have to talk about that. And Ishura. That is also something that
we have to talk about.
We have no choice.
Okay, real quick before we begin the episode, Greg, how's Sakamoto Days? Tell us about it.
I like it. I hear lots of other comparisons. Some people say it's like Spy Family. I haven't seen Spy Family, so I can't comment on that. I think it's a fun, wholesome. I don't want to say like fun for the whole family because there is still like blood and stuff like that.
Do people get murdered?
Well, yeah, everyone's an assassin. But I would say it's super fun. Not something to take serious. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't really fear for the main characters' lives and stuff. If you see the first episode, he's literally like catching bullets with chopsticks and shit. It's one of those where it's just to show off the animation, show off the fun nature of the show and the characters. It's a good time. I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10, but it's a fun time.
Okay. All right. I'm in. How's 100 Girlfriends?
Amazing. One of the best shows.
Greg, let us have like a short discussion. A high level. If you were not beholden to the people that listen to this show and absorb our wonderful chorus of bullshit that we spout into microphones, which of these shows would you have stopped watching?
None. And that is just because of who I am as a person.
That's what I'm talking about, Greg.
I would suffer. I would continue to suffer. Because my life anyway, is suffering. And I just fully embrace it. So yeah, anything that I start, I will finish. Now, for those keen-eyed listeners and viewers, if you ever hit the description of the podcast and you see the links to our My Anime lists, and you happen to look at my anime list, which is fully updated, by the way.
Dang.
I don't want you to look at the horse girl one, Pretty Derby.
Yes. Okay.
I did start watching Pretty Derby specifically to do an episode where we do similar to the Uzumaki episode.
Yeah.
I tell you about it and then you listen to it. I did start it and I'm on like episode 5 or something like that. But I haven't finished it yet. That doesn't mean I'm not going to finish it.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Unlike me, I've seen 3 episodes of MF Ghost and we're still working on that.
I will say that I'm not taking notes on 100 Girlfriends. So that is just something I'm watching solely for my own entertainment, and I can, bring it up here in the podcast. But
Yeah.
if you skip the intro and the outro, it turns the 27-minute episode to like 25, and then you can just straight up breeze through episodes, no problem. I'll just watch back to back, just next. Great. I'm halfway through the season. Cool. Tomorrow I'll finish it. When you're taking notes, for me anyway, it's like doubling my watch time. So something that's a 20-minute show is going to take me 45 minutes to an hour because I have to take notes for the show and stuff. Your anime watching time has doubled or tripled, but you're not fitting in more anime because you're working on the other stuff.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for letting me off the hook on MF Ghost. I still want to watch it because I like it.
Yeah, you also have to save Tifa from Don Cornelio.
I already saved her. Like, okay, there's a quest where you have to get the dresses, right, for each character. There's an achievement for seeing all the dresses. And if you go on my Steam, you'll notice at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning this morning, I got that achievement.
You're literally playing, what's that Roblox game where you have to make outfits and then you're graded on the outfits or whatever?
Oh, I don't know. That.
Anyway.
So back on track, Greg, let us begin where we always begin. How are you feeling high level about our best friend, Ubel Blatt?
People are evil and they want to let you know that they're evil.
They're so evil, dude.
Yeah, and you may not know that they're evil, so it's a good thing that they told you because I would have just never guessed that they were so evil.
Right. Here's my thing. The more that I watch Ubel Blatt, the more it feels like a true edgelord kid show. It feels like someone is 13 years old and they were like, we're going to make this show and it's going to be so fucking cool. And there's going to be so many bad guys, and our cool guy who's looks like he's 13 years old and I drew him myself because he looks like me, and my name's Devin and I'm in middle school.
Oh damn.
The show. But like the manga, it makes sense. But the show, Amazon has systematically ruined, I feel like, from the inside. And let someone's son was like, dude, I'm gonna kill it with this. It's gonna be so sick. Fuck you, Devin.
I kind of wish they would get to the end already. Because everything is out of convenience. I was talking to you yesterday, and I'm like, why is every scene that we have, there's like a double full moon? Literally all the time.
Yeah,
I don't think it's ever turned to daytime.
Yeah.
They just need the double full moon so Coinzel can actually do something.
I'm thinking there's two things to this. They're kind of breezing through a lot of what the manga is. Like I said, by the time they're here, it's chapter 25 and we're in episode 5. There are a lot of shows that we've watched in the past that one manga chapter is an episode. And like, this ain't like that.
That's how it makes me feel. I think that's how the artists feel. I think everyone's on board. Everyone's already on this, like, hey, let's get this over with train.
Yeah.
Literally everybody is there. So we're just on the expedited Ubel Blatt ride at Disneyland where they're just like, look over here, look over here. Ah, okay, we're done.
Yeah. Well, let us get done with it then ourselves. We open on some stupid shit happening in Ubel Blatt.
Episode 5. So we have Rosen, some other dude, and Lightning Arrow chick, who we still don't know what their name is. Apparently they're part of Glenn's crew, and they go to Stem Wallach and are like, urgent news! Coinzel is trying to kill all of us. And Stem Wallach is like, man, you bothered me for that shit.
Yep.
There's no way he could kill me. I am Stem Wallach, the invincible 7 hero. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I have the best soldiers. My castle's so big, rim's real big, and all the citizens and soldiers in Molan and the heavens itself will not permit my death because I am Stem Wallach, pretty much.
Yeah, he's super full of himself, and it's really intense when he's talking about how cool he is as a hero. What fucks me up is there's zero self-awareness from what we've seen of the 7 heroes so far.
Or like any character.
Well, at least Coinzel's like, oh, I gotta get my revenge. He's one note right now, but it's, Stem Wallach and at least seems like they have zero notes. They are literal caricatures of what villainy could be, or like hubris. And it's like, if you inserted me, dumb JC, into a situation where I became one of the 7 most important people in this country, I would still have the wherewithal and the understanding, being that I grew up in poverty and what I've grown up with, that I would be like, okay, this could all go away at the drop of a hat. Maybe I don't spend a bunch of money and act like a fucking psychopath for the next 20 years straight. But these characters have none of that.
Well, probably you would have a flashback to us talking and having a good time, and then it'll flash back to you being like, I'm unkillable Stem Wallach.
Yeah, I'm Stem Wollies.
Rosen is then reminded of Coinzel's words, saying the 7 heroes are shit, and he's like, I'm a knight of the Order of the 7 Spears. Why does Coinzel's words make me tremble? Rosen and crew leave, and Stem Wallach is watching them as they go to their airship, and is like, why did those fucks even come? And then another dude runs into Stem Wallach's office, and it's like, bad news! And then Fargo walks in with his arm missing.
Yeah. Also, no blood on his outfit.
Or out of his gaping armhole either. It's just kind of hanging out. I don't know what's going on there. Because by the time he walked up all the castle stairs, you would have thought he would have bled out by now, but that's fine.
I want to know, like, okay, accessorizing. I'm a big fan of accessorizing. I have wrist jewelry and stuff. And
oh, you don't have a forehead jewel?
That's the thing. That's so cool. I want that, and I want to know how to do that. Because, like, I don't have the hair to put, like, a fucking necklace under the hair so that it sits there. How cool is that? He's got a fucking headband on, too. Fuck this guy, man.
Well, the castle is now on high alert. They're basically like, we don't know where they're coming from. What if by land, 2 if by sea? And all the soldiers are just, oh man, this guy, he must be so good. He totally just cut off Fargo's arm. We got to be careful. Rosen then comments how the Molan military are all veterans, and it's massive. So it's going to be hard for Coinzel to raid. Rosen wants to believe in the 7 heroes, but he keeps seeing Coinzel's young figure flashing in his mind, and he trembles again.
Okay, yeah, but because in the manga he has traveled with Coinzel. They have, this is dumb. I hate it.
Yep, I would have never known that. But they see something approaching from the sky. So they send the Flying Dragon Brigade, and it's Coinzel, and Weed, and Odd.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And Weed is like, hey, Coinzel, you sure this is a good idea? And Coinzel is like, yeah, aim for the bushes. So they're flying in. They dodge a barrage of arrows. The dragons are chasing them. And another dude says that Stem Wallach has authorized the use of that weapon. They raise the magic artillery out of the fucking ground like it's the Death Star or whatever. And Weed is like, oh shit, did you know about that, Coinzel? And Coinzel's like, yeah.
I did.
Even though the exterior is changed, it's still ugly on the inside. The soldiers call the artillery Dragon's Maw.
Dragon's what?
Maw.
It looked like you said Dragon's Mom. And I was like, what? That's a way better name.
So Dragon's Maw was used to wipe out the Wistek forces in the past. And it might be overkill, but Coinzel cut off Fargo's arm, so we gotta blast him. Stem Wallach is like, Fargo, you suck, and I have to clean up your mess. And Fargo is like, grrr, angry face. How do you dare say that to me, Stem Wallach? But then Ott is like, Coinzel, we're being driven to the artillery. Are you sure this is a good idea? Coinzel has a flashback to when the artillery was first being built. Or repaired, I guess I should say, not built. Stem Wallach and Ashert were assigned with the repairs, and Stem Wallach was a skilled stonesmith, and Ashert is the strongest swordsman and the son of a blacksmith. And they had a nice exchange where Stem Wallach was like, hey, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, kid. So we get to see the second note of Stem Wallach, where he used to be seemingly like an okay guy.
See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not going to turn into a fucking blazing psychopath overnight, you know? But I guess if I decided to murder my friends, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe you just haven't had the quest where you had to kill 7 other people and then take their glory for yourself and then just pretend for 20 years of your life.
Yeah, that's a weird side quest to go on.
Okay, so they're getting ready to charge the magic artillery. They're still shooting at Coinzel with arrows and shit, and they're doing barrel rolls. Coinzel has his emo moment of remembering Molan and its warriors and them being so strong and nice and really good soldier nice guys.
And so buff.
Yeah. They had bandages over their eyes, and they're just like, if you don't finish this, we'll finish it, because we're going to end up killing everyone because you're so slow. Hey, I'm silly soldier guy. It cuts to Rosen, who is like, Coinzel, you're struggling, boy, but it's a double full moon out there, so maybe your strength is enough to succeed. Yeah, so always double full moon all the time.
Yeah.
They are ready to fire the artillery. Death Star is charged, and Stem Wallach is like, hey, yo, hold my beer. Watch this shit. It's all here from me.
I'm going to do a flip.
Coinzel takes out his dick swords from his gauntlet and then flies directly into the blast of the artillery and literally just cuts the blast in half. Then they send their mount in the opposite direction as a diversion, I guess, of some sort, and infiltrate the castle.
They say the way that they stopped it was because it's fairy magic and it becomes water again, because it's what they used to.
Yeah, he explains it as they're running through the stupid sewers, but no matter the explanation, it's still dumb. So Rosen is sitting there laughing, just like, oh, Coinzel, you've done it again.
You fucking did it again, buddy. He doesn't miss, man.
So Coinzel, Weed, and Ott are shittily animated running through the sewers, the bowels of the castle, and Weed is like, damn, Coinzel, that was fucking crazy.
Dude.
You cut the fucking beam in half. And Coinzel is like, well, yes, if you reverse the Dark Fairy's magic and then multiply by 5 and carry the remainder, it turns back into water.
Yeah.
And I meant to do that, by the way.
I mean, he did help create, well, not create, he did help rebuild and repair this weapon that they had taken from Wishtag.
Yeah, so no one else questions it. They literally cut in half a blast that can destroy an entire planet. And they're just like, cool, all right, let's just keep going. And then Coinzel is like, there's a secret entrance here that nobody knows, not even the soldiers, because it's so old. Like, I'm the only one that knows about it. They get into the castle and then immediately run into Grandpan, who also knows about it. So cool, Coinzel.
Immediately,
yeah.
Told the
literally immediately. They open the door and Grandpan is like, what are you doing here? This is crazy.
He's like, dude, nobody knows about this place. What are you guys doing here?
Grandpan says that only 5 people know about this entrance, which is really weird because when we go through the rest of this episode, there's definitely more than 5 people that are there. So there's way more people that know about this entrance than both Grandpan and Coinzel fucking thought.
When you say that, like, you're like, oh yeah, I know these tunnels. I like helped build this and repair this item. Nobody knows about these tunnels. And you end up being the dumbest person in the tunnel. That just goes to show that you should stop talking. It's not just that there's Garanpen in these tunnels. There's fucking everybody in these fucking tunnels. Maybe just don't say that next time. Oh, I know about some tunnels that most people don't know about. Done.
It's not even hidden. They literally walk out of a door. It's just like a normal door that you can just open, and there's like secret tunnel. It's not hidden behind a picture, or there's not like, you know, you have to pull a candelabra to open the gate.
Yeah,
no, it's literally just a door with a handle on it.
Yeah. Someone had to have walked by and been like, where does that go to? And someone was like, shut up, we don't talk about that place.
Yeah, there's a sign on it that says, keep out.
Yeah.
No girls allowed.
No girls allowed.
Garanpan is there. They're like, we got business. Get out of the way, Garanpan. Garanpan says, you won't find them Wallach here. And you won't find Fargo in the castle.
He doesn't say Fargo, though. He says Big Bro, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. But I didn't. Yeah.
You got to say Big Bro, dude.
Oh.
Every time. Wait, doesn't he say something else?
I don't know. He might. I don't know. Okay, anyway, you're not going to find Fargo in there. He's like, at the deepest part of this completely secret passage that no one knows, but everyone knows about.
Yes.
There is a shrine that only Fargo and Stemwallet go to. Coinzel asks why he's helping, and Garanpen said he saw Fargo that night and what he did to Zeffy's parents. And then he starts crying, and it's like, Fargo took him in, gave him hope, gave him pride. He gave him a secret mission, and that secret mission was to bring Sharon to the shrine himself. But Fargo and Stemwallet are doing evil things. It then cuts to the shrine, and Stemwallet says the attackers are coming, and Fargo is going to deal with them.
Yeah.
His arm looks like it's going to grow back, and then says their fates are bound. And Stemwallet points to his heart, and then he does a little heart emoji thing, right?
Yeah, that's for sure what he did.
Yeah,
100%.
Or maybe he did like the Korean one.
Yeah, he went like, "This is for you."
Our hearts are combined. Cuts back to Garanpen taking Weed, Ott, and Coinzel as quote unquote women to the shrine, and they basically just start putting makeup on Coinzel. Like, no one else has makeup. No one else is getting all dolled up. You see Weed with his eye patch just still looking like a complete bro. Yeah. And they're just like, no, Coinzel's the only one that we have to put makeup on.
Yeah. We got to go get a new bust for him. We got to make sure we get the corset and the really cute lace up stuff. And we're going to make him look so hot. And then everybody else is like, can we just fucking go? And Grompen's like, no, I've got to go to the store. I've got to buy some nail polish and some toenail splitter things, you know, like the foam thing that goes in between the toes.
Yeah. So you can paint the toes. Yeah. But you know what Garanpen could have done to save a lot of time and a lot of money?
What could he have done?
Garanpen could have gone to itaesthetics.com and bought Coinzel a hoodie, a shirt, or a sweatshirt, or a long sleeve shirt, and used that. And Garanpen could have also used promo code TABC10 on checkout to get 10% off his entire order.
Goddamn right. Head on over there. And use Tab C at checkout. I just got this stuff in, and this sweatshirt fucking rules. A vast amount of people came up to me Saturday night when I was wearing it, and they were like, that's sick as fuck. Where'd you get that? And I was like, IT Aesthetics. Also, you could use my code at checkout. So that was cool. Okay, so they cross-dress Coinzel, put some makeup on, and then they go up to the door, knock on the door, and the guard is like, password. And then Garanpen is like, Tab C10. He's like, okay. And then he's like, Garanpen, what are you doing here so late? Like, the castle is under attack. You're bringing maidens at a time like this? He's like, yes, I am. The guard is like, let me see. And then they see, like, cross-dressed Coinzel. And he's like, God damn, he's hot. What is going on? Oh, my biscuits are burning. He's like, right away, let me unlock this door. So they just let him in instantly, right? Because everyone is from Failure Frame. Like, anytime anyone sees something that might look like a girl, they're just like, oh, right this way. Right this way, ma'am. Can I help you to some penis? Oh, damn. Yeah, that's literally what they're doing. You're right. You are 100% correct. Garanpen says his job was to take the women to the shrine, and knew that they were doing something with their fairy blood, but they said something like they would seal their blood and then take the girls somewhere safe. Yeah, totally. They lied to Garanpen. Dude, why does everything have to be so gullible? Like, when you have the guy... And just wants to believe. Yeah. He wants to believe that everyone has good in their hearts, and he doesn't want to believe in the bad. Yeah, okay, anyways. He's like an infant. Everything is new to him in this world. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Garanpen asks Coinzel for a favor, but the flashback trails off. Now we were back at the shrine. He delivers Coinzel, Weed, and Op, and then demands to see Fargo. And now he wants to know what lies beyond the shrine, and what happens to the maidens that he brought to him. He says he saw Fargo kill Zeffy's parents. So Fargo comes stumbling out of the dark, and he's like, Garanpen, what the fuck, man? Why are you here? And he's like, yeah, I killed them, but I had a reason. And he's like, really, big bro? And he's like, yeah, dude, shut up. I always have a reason. I'm fucking Fargo. Also, we have a reason for everything. Like, just shut up, Garanpen. And he's like, oh, cool. Thanks for putting me at ease, big bro. Turn around. See, guys, everything's totally fine. Big bro's the best. And then immediately Fargo's like, I have to prove that I am a villain. Why would I want this to be a 2-on-1 fight that I just lost, like, to this guy, Coinzel, who fucking wrecked my shit? I'm going to immediately make sure to kill this guy, too.
Garanpen listens to Fargo's lies, and he's like, oh, you know what? You're right. And then Fargo realizes that Coinzel is there. And then he's like, Garanpen, do you realize what you done, you big, dumb, soft, kind dummy?
Mm-hmm.
And then he stabs Garanpen through the chest. And then he stabs him some more. And Coinzel and gang are just like, no, Garanpen. And then they just stand there. They don't actually like do anything. They're just like, no.
Coinzel has blocked so much slower shit.
Coinzel blocked, he saved Pee-Pee from Fargo when he was going to attack her. But Garanpen just gets literally pincushioned.
Yeah.
And everyone is just like, oh, shit. And then that's it.
Oh, did you guys see that coming? Fargo was talking and then he attacked him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming.
He goes to execute Garanpen, but then Coinzel jumps in and saves him. Fargo was like, hey, I'll give you Sharon, and you guys can just leave. Sound good? And Coinzel is like, nah, I'm going to kill you and Stem Wallach. And Fargo is like, oh, yeah? Yeah, Garanpen, you want to see what I did to those girls, Garanpen? Check this out. And then he shows him his arm that is made of girls. And he's like, yeah, you like what you see? You did this, Garanpen. And Garanpen's like, no, you're not my father. And then he falls down into the little funnel thing.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode. And disappointment was had by all. And everybody was like, oh, wow, didn't see that coming. Cool fairy magic, Fargo, bro. And then
everything's just kind of there. Yeah, it's like it's a story on rails, basically.
Yeah. 100%.
It's like all of this stuff happens like at a convenience. It's like, okay, Garanpen's ultra gullible. They got double full moons all the time. They're literally in some underground shrine citadel with no sky, but then Coins can just still empower the double full moons and whip out his gauntlet.
You know what else has double full moons? The ladies on Fargo's arm. The only real fan service that we've gotten in the show, that obviously the manga is full of it, is like dead people. And it's really fucking weird, man. Like, I don't really understand.
I get it. They're like, look how evil he is. He's using dead women as an arm for fairy magic power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it. Fargo's super evil. I still feel like there was a cooler way for you to execute what's going on right now.
The way they make it look here, it looks like it's popping out of his chest. It doesn't look right. It's supposed to be like this amalgamous amount of bodies and stuff that graft into what could be an arm again to let him do the things. But it just looks awkward location-wise, specifically so that they could show his face.
It definitely does look like they drew the zombie girls, and then that's an image, and then they drew Fargo, and that's an image, and then they were just like, how do we line this up to get both things?
They fucking failed miserably.
It's Ubel Blatt.
Anyways, high level, Greg, how are you feeling about Zenshu? Wait, no, Ishura. We're doing Ishura. Sorry.
I would have had more respect for this episode if they actually committed to the characters. I'm going to say that just to not give it away too much. I feel like what the show is trying to pull off, like some dark noir, no one wins in the end style story. I wish they kind of held on to that a little bit more in this episode.
The most important thing about this episode is that it's like you get some fighting, but in the end, the moral is trust yourself and like shut up, eat a dick. Like it was so awkward the way it was forced into the story. The stakes aren't that high to me. I don't care enough that you don't care about yourself.
I even feel like the stakes for Kuro weren't really that high. Like all you're doing is relaying coordinates. You're not even fighting. Like
yeah, let's rip it, Greg. Hit him with it.
Episode 5, Ishura, Season 2. Episode 17 of the series starts off with a few days before Calamity arrives.
Mm-hmm.
I assume we're at the desert area because some dude is talking to the Particle Storm. And he says, Particle Storm, we offered a sacrifice, so please stop with these crazy winds And what did we do to anger you? So this guy is talking to a bunch of sand. But in our surprise, the particle storm starts talking back. And it's basically Fargo from Ubel Blatt, because it's like, I was just playing around and now I'm bored. And I lied. I'm evil.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is like, we've been sacrificing for hundreds of years. So spare the village. And the storm is like, nah, I'm good. All minions will die. And then he just blends that dude. And I assume he destroys the village.
Yay.
It cuts to Kiyazuna and Mistel Exel. And Kiyazuna tells Mistel to end the particle storm. But Torora sees the cursed sword inside of Chariot and then goes after Kiyazuna, and Mistel Exel intercepts. The particle storm starts talking and is like, everyone is just sand in the wind, particles for me to blow around, and I kill stuff. I'm evil. And Kiyazuna is like, explain yourself, particle storm. What are you doing? Anyway, Torora and Mistel Exel are still fighting, and Torora shoots his Nel Tsui, the Burning Blade fire sword, and Moose Chain, the Howling Blade, into Mistel's dodge booster things on its hip.
Great.
And then, disables his movement, kinda. And then Torora wants a blasting blade, but Kiyazuna is like, no, my blasting blade. Mistel Exel turns to fire at Torora, but Torora is too close to Kiyazuna, and he says, I'm too close to your mom. She might get caught in the blast. And throws his Vajir, the Frost Venom blade, at Mistel and starts to crystallize.
So you said Moose Chain? My brain immediately said Moose Knuckle. It was no millisecond between Moose Chain and Moose Knuckle. But anyways, separately.
Yeah.
The 3D of all of these characters that is being thrown around in this episode is annoying to me. Also, Mistel Exel and Toroa's fight could be a fight, but the particle storm being there means fucking nothing. It's so frustrating because season 1 was okay. There was political intrigue. There was some stuff going on. By episode 6, you were like, oh, okay, I kind of understand all these characters and I see what's going on. I see how Arya Tia is going to fit into the situation. This sovereign nation that split off from Arya Tia has begun their counteroffensive against Arya Tia. Okay, I'm with it. At season 2 of Ishura, my brain is canceling the show. What are we doing here? Nothing of import is happening.
It's very messy because you have the Mistel Exel and Torora fight, but then the particle storm is closing in, so they want you to feel like there's caught between a rock and a hard place.
In the last episode, the particle storm was next to them, and it was like, hey, what's up, fuckers? I'm here too. Fucking The Undertaker just showed up out of the back.
Instead of grabbing a chair and hitting someone, The Undertaker just kind of stood in the ring and did that John Travolta thing where he's just like...
Yeah.
He's looking back and forth.
I feel like even more so than getting up to the ring, it's like The Undertaker came in through the crowd and is just standing at the gate of the crowd, staring inward I'm gonna get you, and the other two are just like, The Undertaker's there. Who gives a shit? And then they keep fighting each other. And it's like, there's more important things going on, guys.
Kiyazuna starts to take off in Chariot and picks up Mistel. And Torora is just riding on the top. And Kiyazuna's like, get off the roof, you bum. He said, no, give me the sword. The particle storm is just following them.
My frustration is at an all-time high. Kiyazuna is driving this car, hits Mistel Exel after Mistel Exel gets kind of blown up and seeming like it's gonna die, even though it can't die, whatever.
Getting crystallized, yep.
And then you have Torora on the roof who's like, give me the fucking sword. Give me the goddamn sword. It's just like, dude, your motivations, everyone's fucking motivations in this scene suck fucking dicks, dude. It's like, give me the fucking sword. And Mistel Exel's like, this is so much fun. I'm having the best time. And then the fucking particle storm's like, you got full of particles, boy. Give me your fucking particles. And then Kiyazuna's like, get me fucking away from here, but kill the particle storm. And then Kuro's like, this is crazy.
He's watching the whole thing. He's fucking there.
Literally.
And he's like, what the fuck am I watching right now? He's like, my clairvoyance must be really broken. What am I watching?
What am I doing here?
Anyway, Torora thinks, did Kiyazuna purposely slow down so he has to deal with the particle storm? And then Mistle starts summoning a bunch of other golems and is trying to attack Torora as they're on top of a car.
Yes.
Torora whips out the Frost Venom Blade again and is like,
Moose Knuckle.
Ice consume me, and stabs the car, basically. And he's like, give me the fucking blasting blade or I'm going to break this fucking car. And Kiyazuna is just like, no, my blasting blade. And Torora's like, just give me the fucking sword, bitch. I'll deal with the storm. Just give me the fucking sword. But she's like, no one bosses me around.
Yeah.
Even if it's to save my own life. Like, fuck you. Yeah. Very hard to watch.
Yeah.
The car stops. It hits a fucking boulder or some shit. And car down for the count. Storm catches up. And the storm is like, time to kill.
You guys are full of particles. Can't wait to particle storm you.
And then a blast from the sky comes down and hits the particle storm. And then the car gets blown away, and the storm also, the particles get blown away as well. And it's revealed that the storm is actually like a fucking Leviathan thing. And the blast was one of Melee's arrows. Now, we get to the name of the particle storm later, but I'm just going to keep calling him Particle Storm until...
Nobody gives a shit what the particle storm's real name is, Greg.
You're right, because he dies instantly.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's Melee's arrow. So it cuts to Kuro, who is sitting on top of the mountain, relaying coordinates to Melee.
Yeah.
Who is at the Sign Riverstead.
Calling in airstrikes.
Pretty much. And then the little Aratia scout team is there from last episode. The guys that like walked up and was like, wasn't there a town used to be here? A particle storm.
Yeah.
Kuro says it wasn't a direct hit because his coordinates were a little off. And then Melee tells the scout team, hey, fix the road from the village to the next town. And also give me new farming tools. Brand new, bitch. I don't want this Amazon warehouse special. I want brand new farming tools. And the guy is like, dude, I'm literally like tier 1 support. I'm part of the comms team, man. I got no pull in the organization.
Dude, I literally just answer the phones. I got sent here. I don't know. I'm on overtime. I have no idea what's going on.
Melee's like, well, get on that phone and call the higher ups.
Yeah.
And get the village some tools. Every time I shoot one of these fucking arrows, I'm going to ask you for more shit. And Kune is like, Kuro, we should probably move, man. Like, I don't know. Probably shouldn't get any closer. And Kuro's like, no, I gotta get closer. I need more accurate data. And then he says a particle storm is actually a worm that uses force arts to cloak itself in sand. But Kune is like, Kuro, I'll just go. You can stay here. And Kuro's like, no, I have to go. And then he reports some more coordinates. I actually was going to write these coordinates down.
They're in the millions and I hate it.
Yeah, but nothing matters. He reports back. Melee shoots again. Not a direct hit. And he says that his clairvoyance isn't working as good. Torora recovers the blasting blade and is like, I'm going to kill the particle storm. Like I told you I would.
Yep.
Kiyazuna is like, no, Mistle, you kill it. Torora gets ready to unleash. But then another arrow comes down. And then Kiyazuna uses microwaves to attack the particle storm. And just has this exposition on, hey, energy weapons, microwaves. I'm going to put you on high for 12 to 13 minutes and make you suffer.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to get through all the layers of his armor by cooking him from the inside.
Yeah. And then the particle storm is like, oh, you know what? You can't cook fucking underground. And he just burrows. And then Kiyazuna's like, damn, didn't see that one coming. And then Kuro starts coughing up blood and little bits of his insides and says, time comes for us all. I'm 2 days from retirement. And Kune says that, Kuro, no, your vision is perfect. Your clairvoyant sees everything. And if you can't see it, then it means that you chose not to see it. And you chose to miss the particle storm. And then he's like, damn, maybe you're onto something.
Any normal human would be like, shut the fuck up. She's like, I know your powers. They're not dwindling at all. You're so good. And like, how could it possibly be that you're getting older and like your joints are getting weaker and you suck at life now and you're not as good at video games as you were? You sleep like 10 hours a day and your powers aren't as strong. It takes longer to go to the gym to get the same results.
Damn.
Am I being a little introspective right now?
He said all of that, I'm pretty sure.
Kune said all of that, yeah.
Kuro said, if I completed the mission, then Arya Tia wouldn't need me. And then they would kill me. And then he turns around and there's some soldier dude just like half hiding behind a fucking boulder holding a crossbow. Dude. And then it's like, whoopsie. Oh, he saw me. Let me just.
Dude, it's literally like he's looking like this. He's like, oh shit. How could he see me? I've been hiding this whole time. Oh shit. He's looking right at me.
Literally half of his body is exposed. He's not even fucking trying. He's stupid. Like, oh no, don't look at me behind this rock. I thought it was covering everything, but it's covering nothing. Kune is like, see, Kuro, your eyes, they still work. And Kuro is like, yeah, I just don't want to see people die anymore. So I have to use my eyes in a different way. I got to use them to save people. Kune is like, no, Kuro, don't do it. And he sets Kune down and is like, sorry, Toots, this is something only I can do. Then he covers her with his hat. And then he tells Melee, one last shot, Melee. This one's for all the marbles. And then he gives him some coordinates and then he fucking hits it from underground. And Worm gets fucking blasted in half by Melee's arrow. Narrator then is like, Kuro is a dude. He's a dude with clairvoyance. And he's a dude that could have let his omnipotence do all the work, but he wanted to choose his own fate, his own life. And then he takes 3 to the back. He takes 3 back shots. Literally. And now he's dead, but not dead. So Kiyazuna is like, that was my kill. Now I gotta kill the ones who killed the kill that was supposed to be my kill. And she's like, Torora, you're on the list too, bitch. And Torora's like, nah, I'm good. Shut the fuck up. He's like, I got the blasting blade. I don't give a shit anymore. And Kiyazuna is like, no, you're dead. And Torora says he's an immortal being resurrected from hell just to collect swords. That's his only job. He literally was resurrected from the depths of hell just to start a collection. Kune flies down to Torora and Kiyazuna looking for help for Kuro. Torora is like, yeah, I sense that, fuck. And Mistel is like, me too. Torora says he must have been the one behind the arrow shots, and he risked his lives to save innocents. So he should be saved. As it shoots to a fucking cutscene of like fucking Kuro literally slumped over half of the mountain, just bleeding out.
Yeah.
Kiyazuna is like, I don't give a shit. And Torora is like, you'll be rewarded. And then he gives back the blasting blade.
So literally all of this was fucking useless and meaningless.
He gives back the blasting blade, and then Kiyazuna's like, okay, I guess take my child's chariot. The car that I said was also one of Mistel Exel's siblings. So just take my kid, I'll trade it for a sword. And then he drives away. Fucking Torora the Awful. His only job in life is to collect swords. Yet for some reason, he knows how to drive a distant world fucking living car that is given to him by Kiyazuna. Anyway, he drives it to Kuro
to sick
save him.
It's also a stick shift with a wheel that was like on a boat. Like the boat wheel, like the one with the spokes. But it's literally like left hand stick shift, right side drive, fucking bespoke wheel, fucking boat.
He took the helm.
Yeah, he did take the helm. That is exactly what he did.
Mistel Exel doesn't want to take the blasting blade because he didn't beat Torora. And Kiyazuna is like, sweet, look at you. You made your own goal, and your goal is to kill another person. That's super normal.
You're fucking doing it, dude. Look at you making goals over here, little knucklehead.
So let's have it be the prize. And then they just both laugh and walk away into the sunset. And then Mistel is like, you sure I just fucking leave the sword over there? And Kiyazuna is like, man, the only reason I didn't want to give it to Torora was because I thought it was your favorite toy. And then they just walk away laughing, hand in hand, skipping, and then the sword is just left in the ground.
Literally 0 fucks given about that stupid fucking sword. The only thing that happened was the fucking particle storm got calamity'd in the tits.
It just got shot by an arrow. It's not even dead yet. So all that happened was the particle storm was injured. That was 23 minutes of the episode. Kuro is in Torora's truck. And Kune is there, and he's like, Kune, why did you save me? I'm not worthy. And Kune is like, I'm just a homunculus, Kuro. I don't know if I'm allowed to love. She's like, I just want to make you smile. And then she touches his face with her tiny little wing hand that is literally just like copy paste. It's almost like a picture book, you know, where you pull the little tab and then the thing in the picture book moves back and forth. There's a short monologue of who I assume is Heion and Mijaru talking and saying they recovered the blasting blade. So they tied up that loose end real quick, saying someone came and got it.
Yeah.
Long story short, Kune saved Kuro with the power of love.
Yep.
Kuro's powers aren't fucking broken. He just wasn't thinking right. And now he's alive inside of a fucking truck that Torora, the awful, who has zero experience driving, is driving them to safety.
And then we get the scene where the vampire lady rolls up to the particle storm. And
like, where is this? They're just in a lake in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know, man. Also, why did the particle storm go into a lake?
Fucking, okay. Cuts to the worm in a lake somewhere in a forest. And Linares is there and says the worm is the great Atrazek?
Yes.
The worm is surprised.
He's like, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, that Linares knows his real name. Linares said, you told me your name so many double moons ago. Atrazek says it needs to get to Arturia. And Linares is like, nah, you gonna die here. So everything can remain a secret. And then she caresses its face. And then his own particles start to attack him. And he's like, how? And Linares said, it's because you devoured the young maiden Ani. From the first episode, the kid with the bum leg. And then Linares says that was the start of the quote-unquote infection. It's revealed that Linares was the one in the carriage at the very beginning in episode 1. I guess playing big brain chess here, like setting up the pieces 5 episodes in advance. Oh, and then the particle storm died. So the particles killed the worm. And he's like, no, oh, somebody save me. Oh, look at me. Like, I was evil and now I'm dying. So I got to make it seem like that this is such a horrible death because that's what I did to everybody else. There you go. Episode 5.
So the only thing from this episode that could matter at all is if Linares learned how to use the particle storm. Everything else in this episode doesn't matter.
Well, to be fair, the burning blade was recovered by the old king loyalists. So that's the other important thing, I guess, is the burning blade was recovered.
Cool.
And that'll be more important in the next episode.
Okay.
But yes, so like 30 minutes later, only 2 things of import happened. Burning blade got recovered.
Yeah.
Linares is thinking 20 steps ahead. That's pretty much it. And Kune and Kuro are a thing now, and they're going to have little homunculus minion babies.
Ew. How?
With the power of love.
I'm good. Like, Kuro sucks. Kune sucks. The particle storm sucks.
Everybody sucks. Torora sucks. Kiyazuna definitely sucks. Mr. Lexel, he's just like a fucking jack-in-the-box, basically.
Yeah. There was something else we were going to say about our best friend, Ishura.
Oh, we were talking about Kuro, Kune.
Yeah, no, they're just artificial character development. Believe in yourself, but also take 3 back shots.
She saw him take 3 back shots and was like, I still love you.
Yeah.
Okay, Zenshu?
So, high level, how are you feeling about Zenshu?
I feel like it's trending in the same directions that it's been trending the whole series so far.
My thing is, Zenshu is trying to like have serious development in characters as well, but it's not taking the time to really, I don't know, I feel like this is the beginning of the character development arc of Natsuko, and it just felt weird. It felt awkwardly paced throughout the episode. But I also kind of get it, because in the next episode, we're going to get into more of what happens in this big fight. This episode was a building episode, I guess.
I agree. I think they're taking their time to unwrap the story.
Yeah, but like Memolin being like a major character, them just making a joke out of it.
Yeah, it was saved by song and dance. Yep.
Yeah. But like her story is supposed to be more serious, but I don't really understand.
I didn't really like last episode because I agree with you. Like Memlin has literally lived for eternity and she wanted to die. And you made a song and dance and now she just like completely forgot everything that she ever believed in and wanted her entire life because you drew a hot guy.
Yeah.
And that is it. I think these next couple episodes up until near the season finale of the series, like we're going to see a little bit more into Natsuko's character. And without them saying it, this whole Tales of Perishing isekai that she's in is an analogy of her career as an artist. In the first few episodes, that was her getting her first animator job. And then she drew the monster that saved everyone. And she's like, oh, hey, that was pretty good. And everyone's like, damn, okay, you saved us. And then she did it again. And now they're like, okay, we see you as part of the team. Like, hey,
okay,
you're really saving our art studio right now because you're drawing these things and everyone is loving them. Now, as we get into episode 5, it's getting to the arc where she became the art director. Everyone recognizes her for being a really great artist. And then now she thinks her talents are so good that she's like better than everyone else now.
Yes.
If we look back at episode 1 during her non-isekai time for like the first half of the episode, she's kind of acting like this, where it's just like, I'll do everything. I'll make all the plans. Everyone else sit back and watch me frag. I think they're taking this roundabout way to demonstrate how she got to where she was in real life within Tales of Perishing. And now we're like 5 episodes in.
I didn't really think of it that way. And now that you bring it up, that makes a lot more sense. And, you know, my oblivious ass probably just passed over all the really like nuanced fucking thought process of the show. And I'm just like watching it at face value of Tales of Perishing rather than thinking about like, oh, this is how she works.
I don't even know if that's true.
I mean, but that makes a lot of sense. And if you're viewing it in that direction, the crumbs are there. So being able to see something and look at the allegory, I think you're spot on.
But speaking of Natsuko in the real world, episode 5 starts with Natsuko fidgeting at her desk in her office. The poor secretary lady comes in and says, hey, Natsuko, we really need these storyboards, like just like a little bit. You know, we're already past the deadline. Like things aren't looking too good. And then Natsuko, with her crazy Sadako eye hair mode, asks the poor secretary lady about her first love. And the secretary lady is like, I already told you. Like, you asked me this, and I already told you what it was.
We just did this yesterday.
Natsuko was like, when? Where? And she's like, well, it was in middle school, and I was in band. And then Natsuko literally forces her to sit down. And then she's like, draw it. And secretary is like, no, I don't want to. She holds her hand, takes the pencil, puts it in her hand, and then makes her kill her first love, pretty much.
Maybe, or just relive it.
The secretary is like, I can't even draw. And the other animators are just like creeping around the corner, watching serial killer Natsuko force her victim to kill her first love. And then they're just like, damn, yeah, if you ask her about the anime, she'll make you draw. So these guys aren't even defending the poor secretary lady. Yeah. They're just like, well, I guess she's fucked. We're just over here hiding behind a wall. Cuts to the lunchroom, and other employees are talking about how the company is done for if this new anime flops. And then they compare the flopping to Tales of Perishing. And they're like, man, it's not going to flop that bad. And they're like, yeah, you're probably right. That was fucking dog shit. But inside of the lunchroom, they did have posters of the other animes of the studio. And then one of the posters was the weird mouth monster that she drew in episode 1 to save Yunio. So I thought it was cool that they actually had posters of the stuff that she drew inside of Tales of Perishing to save the 9 heroes. So just a little fun fact.
I didn't see that. That's pretty cool. Again, something you picked up that apparently I did not. I feel like I didn't watch the same episode. Maybe I just suck at watching.
President Naomi walks in, then goes up to Natsuko and says, everyone's first love is different. And research is good, but we're going to be in trouble if you don't fucking make something. And says maybe they should have someone else do the storyboard. And Natsuko is like, no, I do everything myself. And then Natsuko jumps on social media and is flipping through posts of, I guess, excited fans waiting for Hatsukoi First Love. From there, it cuts back to the Tales of Perishing Land, and Natsuko is having a destroying void montage where she draws a bunch of different stuff, like the Sailor Moon soldier chick from her hit anime to like this weird little Mega Man thing holding a baseball bat or something. She draws a bunch of shit and basically just has this montage of killing Void and being the best. Mm-hmm. All while like Luke and Memolin and QJ are just like sitting in the corner doing nothing.
Yeah, and they're like, should we help? And she's like, nah, I'm the best at all times. I don't need you. I'm the 9 heroes incarnate.
They get back to town and they're riding the little carriage to the fanfare of the town and everyone's chanting Natsuko's name. Mm-hmm. Natsuko is now taking all the credit for destroying the Voids and said that next time she'll defeat them in 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. And says they reliably do their job and then does some weird like Sailor Moon Power Ranger stance at the end of her speech.
The double hands into the fucking the moves, dude. 9 soldiers, dog.
Back at the house, Yunio is telling Natsuko her grandstanding is getting old. But then Natsuko doesn't care and goes into the kitchen and just starts eating stuff that Luke is making.
Dude, I love Luke being relegated to the cook. He's, get back in the kitchen, bitch. And she's just like walking and she's like, smacks his ass. And she's like, these fucking sandwiches are delicious. Nice job. And then Luke's just like, oh, you look really nice today. Thank you for working so hard.
But then Luke tells her not to eat it and then parts her hair, but then is captivated. And it's now, my name is...
wow, she's so gremlin-y.
Yeah, let me butter your bread and then put jam on top of it. But Yunio is in the doorway, blood boiling, that Luke is close to Natsuko. QJ says Yunio wants Luke to date and mess around more. And Yunio says, there's plenty of other girls out there. Why does it have to be her?
Yeah, not that one. That's the bad one. I'm over it.
Destiny is now ripped as fuck, still sporting her serval cat mask outfit.
Fucking shredded.
Natsuko and crew visit her, and she says she's training every day. But then Luke looks depressed for some reason. Destiny explains the kids who live in the slums are orphans and often turn to crime. And she wants to tell them about Serval Cat House, which is the orphanage she built. And they're delivering food to the kids so they can tell them also about Serval Cat House. Mm-hmm. Memolin says they should split up to talk to the kids. Destiny says the kids in the District of Despair are extra cautious of adults.
Dude.
So Destiny wants Yunio to go. And he's like, nah.
I fucking hate kids, dog. Please don't make me do this.
Those ain't my streets. She assigns the District of Despair to Luke and Natsuko, QJ and Yunio to the South District, and her and Memolin will go to the North District. But Yunio is like, oh shit, I'll go since I don't want Luke and Natsuko to be alone together.
Yeah.
He just fucks QJ because QJ has to go by himself.
Yeah. QJ's pretty self-sufficient, apparently.
When he's charged.
When he's charged, yes. What's so wild to me is when you call a district the District of Despair. Naming conventions still exist when you are naming something for your story. If you call it and then like the location of sadness, that's what you're calling it. Think of how it would be in real life.
That reminds me of the most recent Puss in Boots movie. Did you see that one?
No.
It's actually really, really good. I like that.
I heard it's good.
They basically had a map and it shows your inner feelings or something like that. So when like Puss grabs the map, all the locations are just like pit of emotional depression and never come back from it, like land of despair, all this weird shit.
Okay.
And then when like the little goofy dog grabs it, it's just like pool of water balloons and sunshine.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good movie. You should watch it.
Anyway, I'll have to check it out.
They get there, and it's basically just like a red light district. And Natsuko says it wasn't in any of the reference material. Luke says it's the most dangerous district in the slums. and the soul's future light doesn't reach it. And he wants to do something for them after they save the world from the void.
Mm-hmm.
Natsuko and Luke have some banter back and forth, and Yunio tries to distract Luke by literally shitting in the street and then pointing it out and just being like, look, Luke, look, there's this rainbow colored shit in the middle of the street. Isn't this fucking crazy? Luke doesn't give a shit. Pun intended, I guess.
Yep.
And then a little goat kid steals Natsuko's peg bar. Luke goes and gets it back, and all the kids recognize him and the 9 heroes. And he gives the peg bar back to Natsuko and is like, these kids turn to crime to survive, basically. You got to be careful. They get to their destination, and then they set up a family-style China Star buffet for these kids to eat.
Hell yeah.
And I assume this was the food that Luke was preparing that Natsuko was eating that he didn't want her to eat.
Yes.
So that's why he was like, stop eating this food. It's for the kids. But she didn't care because she's so strong and does everything on herself.
And like, super self-absorbed.
The kids are at China Star Buffet, and Yunio is mad at Natsuko and tells her to get to work. But she is drawing for the kids, and all of the kids love it. Mm-hmm. And now they want her to draw Luke.
They're making requests like she's a DJ.
They're like, hey, yo, can you just play Despacito?
Yeah, yeah.
Luke and Yunio are struggling with the kids, but Natsuko rolls up with her drawings and tells the kids at Serval Cat House they can eat without working. And then also freaking out the goat kid that stole her peg bar.
Oh, yeah. She's like demon mode, like in his face. But real quick, they requested specifically that she draw Luke. They're like, hey, will you draw Luke right here? And then someone says something about Justice, and she's like, oh, I'll draw Justice. And totally passes over. Luke kind of like looks over and notices. He's like, why wasn't she drawing me at all?
I can't remember if it's that scene in particular or another scene in this episode, but it might have been this scene where the kids ask her to draw Luke. She's like, when I was a kid, I drew Luke all the time, and I could draw him in any position with any expression, doing anything with my eyes closed. Anyway, she hits it off with the kids and explains to them how to get to Serval Cat House. The adults there aren't their enemy. And then they all basically Tusken Raider, like run off yelling Serval Cat House.
Yeah.
As they're just like running around delivering kids to Serval Cat House. They start walking back after dashing back and forth from Serval Cat House. And they run into some thugs bullying a dragon. And Luke steps in and stops them. Yunio says it's Justice. And Justice used to fight, breathe fire, and fly. Natsuko recognizes her from Tales of Perishing. And Justice is literally just a drunkard on the side of the road, not giving a shit about anything. Justice approaches Natsuko and says, oh, your hair is so soft and you smell so nice. You must be an E-rank hunter.
Yeah.
And then Luke steps in, and Luke's like, nah, let's get the fuck out of here. And then they just leave. So Luke didn't even acknowledge Justice at all. Justice tells Natsuko that if she wants to spread her wings, she should come find Justice again and she'll show her a good time. You heard the same thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
He's like, hey, if you want to come back and touch my cloaca, you come on back.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's a cloaca? And then Luke's like, get over here, please. Don't indulge him. Or her, or they, or I don't know, but just get away.
What they are. In my notes, and I guess this is bad of me, but since they never clarified, I think I referred to Justice as a she in my notes, just so everyone's aware.
I think they refer to Justice as a him, because at one point they're talking about how Luke looked up to him, I think.
I'll do my best to.
But either way, I don't know, because I'm just a dumb guy. Okay.
Just so everyone knows, that's what my note says.
Okay.
And that's how I'm going to read it.
Okay.
So they get back to the 9 soldiers' house. Natsuko is cracking some walnuts and tells QJ they saw Justice. Luke is in the backyard angrily swinging his sword. Mm-hmm. And QJ said that Luke looked up to Justice the most out of all the 9 soldiers. From there, they're back at the slums, and Natsuko is ushering kids to Serval Cat House. But Justice is there, sitting on a stoop. Natsuko says she wanted to see her. And Justice is like, I wanted to see you too, baby girl.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun tonight.
This is weird.
That like basically happened.
Yeah, no. That's 100%. Like, I'm not correcting Greg at all here. That's 100% what happened. Justice is trying to bang. And like Natsuko's just like, I just wanted to talk to you. And Justice is like, yeah, I wanted to talk to you using our bottom lips. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's talk to each other with body language.
Yeah. And Natsuko's like, no. I just wanted to draw this real quick.
Yeah.
And
but then Natsuko told her about the 8th Soul Future and how Luke defeated the Void. But Ganger, who I assume is another 9th soldier, died, and Justice was gravely wounded during that battle. She said that Luke went to go tend to Ganger. I think it's Ganger.
I think you're right. It's Ganger.
Yeah. And didn't know that Justice was injured. And then Justice left the 9 soldiers carrying armfuls of young women.
Dude, like, I'm rolling out with these bitches. I'll see you later.
Justice was like, yeah, whatever. You ready to fool around? And she embraces Natsuko. And Natsuko accepts the embrace, but only to inspect her wings. And Natsuko is like, oh, you can't fly anymore, can you, bitch?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, don't touch my body like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then she asked Justice, why not tell Luke the truth instead of having him hate you forever? She said if he found out, he would only blame himself. And instead of having that, she would rather he hate him or her.
Mm-hmm.
Luke be filled with hate. How about that?
I mean, it kind of makes sense because in this part of the show, or in this part of A Tale of Perishing, Luke is like balls deep in the defense of the last city.
Yeah.
And anything else other than victory is a complete distraction. And that's the kind of person you want to have in the middle of a crazy ass war. I mean, Justice, I don't blame them for being injured on the battlefield and then being like, all right, I'm gonna go drink a bunch and then let everybody hate me.
I think because Justice feels inadequate now.
Yeah, 100%.
Because Justice says it in, it's either this episode or next episode. She's basically like, a dragon that can't fly and can't breathe fire might as well just be fucking useless. 100%. So she herself doesn't have any self-worth anymore because she felt like her worth was breathing fire and fragging on kids. But now she can't frag anymore, so she might as well just
cloaca it up.
Yeah, tussle with some hussies and drink alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
She's drinking more alcohol and it's missing her mouth and stuff.
Yeah, it's all over her body.
Yeah, she's like, whoops.
Are you thirsty?
Natsuko tells her to not move. And then she starts to draw Justice. And then Yunio and Luke are peeking around the corner. And Yunio's like, oh, look, Luke, Justice and Natsuko, they're having an adult relationship. And now Luke thinks they're banging.
Yeah. And he's staring around the corner. He's like, dude, this is crazy. Like,
he's like, I shouldn't watch these adults having a relationship, but he can't stop. They get the kids to the Serval Cat house, and Natsuko is drawing Justice for them. QJ says, void detected. So they go to investigate. As they're running to go to investigate, a bird talks to Natsuko and says, even with all the corrections, it's still not enough. But then Luke calls for Natsuko and she runs off. So basically this bird had a cameo and it's just like, hey, everything you're doing is fucking useless.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying before in last episode, that I think that this bird is the original artist of Tales of Perishing.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. And she is basically like, my anime flopped, even though I put so much work into it. Nothing you can do can save this flop of an anime that everyone decided was shit, and I died.
Yeah.
So
I'm really interested in that character and that character development. And we've gotten 2 full seconds of it. I'm going to need more than that if you're going to hook me onto Zenshu.
They get to the void threat, and it's a bunch of eggs. No voids, just eggs. And QJ says, it's over 9,000. And Natsuko says she never saw this in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Luke and QJ go to take a closer look, and Justice is watching them. And then Natsuko's peg bar starts telling her to draw. Natsuko is like, I guess I'm just going to fuck all this shit up. So she advances, and Luke is like, what the fuck are you doing? She said, I can do all of this on my own. It's faster this way.
Everybody sit over there and fucking watch a fucking master do this shit.
Just like her real life self would say to the other artists.
Yep.
She draws a masked samurai, and it slashes all the eggs.
He's a Ronin. Thank you.
Okay. He draws a masked Ronin. A samurai with no master.
Yeah.
and slashes all the eggs. But then all of the void blood starts to pool and surround the masked samurai.
Yeah.
The peg bar tells her, insufficient resources. Please draw more.
Dude.
The rest of the team help cover for Natsuko.
Luke starts jumping out and commanding the whole situation as well.
Yeah.
As soon as he sees that shit's going down a little bit, he starts taking control and being the leader that he is. You get to see the dynamic of what a real leader does versus what a fake leader does. Is like, everybody go over there and sit and watch me do this shit myself. I'm so cool.
She froze, right? She drew what she thought she should have drawn. It wasn't enough. And then basically it gets fucked. Instead of reacting and being dynamic in the situation, she just froze up because she's like, oh, I don't know why that wasn't enough. She starts drawing more and has a flashback to real life saying that she'll do everything herself. And then the void destroys her Ronin. And now the void blood forms a creature and lunges at Natsuko.
Yeah, and it gets that like centipede mouth thing. Yeah, Natsuko, she a little overzealous on her abilities and a little overestimation.
That's episode 5. So you're seeing more character development from Natsuko. This is almost like an allegory for her real life. And this whole Tales of Perishing journey is pretty much her going from nobody artist to hitting that point in her career where she was like someone famous. Everyone calls her a genius and she's like the best animator, God's gift to man or whatever. But now she's knocked down a peg and had to have the team come save her when what she did didn't actually work.
Yeah, and I think the way that you're looking at it, I think is the way that the studio means for, or well, the original mangaka and the studio and everybody means for us to look at it. I think that you bring up a really good point with having an allegory through the show itself of like, hey, yeah, you can save everything, but you also need to learn to work as a team and rely on others to fill in the gaps of your own skill. Much like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, you know what I mean? Like, very important things happening in the world for the Lakers. Just want you to know.
Yeah, and like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, right?
Less that.
Am I doing it?
Am I doing it? Anyway, Zenshu, I think, is starting to ramp up a little bit, but I'm still like, man, it's like Dan just ruined everything for the whole year. You know, like it's just fucking Dan was too good.
In the end, they're going to get to the same conclusion that you wanted it to get to in the beginning, where like both of us were kind of caught off guard. Like this wasn't exactly what we were expecting. It's just not exactly the way that we would have liked. To me, it's taking a more childlike approach to an issue that I feel should be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that's what frustrates me the most about it is that I don't want this to be as chill as it is, because this is a serious issue when it comes to animation studios and like what, I mean, literally MAPPA putting this together. We know that people are threatening very serious things with their own lives and the lives of the people around them when it comes to overworking. And we know the culture, how if you're not staying late, you're not really dedicated. That's just not something that you should ever feel that you're obligated to do when it comes to work. It can destroy you if not handled correctly. And I think that that's important to notice. And I don't think that we're touching on that enough yet.
There's another anime that's on our extra credit watch list is I Have a Crush at Work. And in one of the episodes, actually the latest episode, they talk about this same thing. I guess it's more like the Japanese work culture. And in terms of progressing your career, like you aren't your own individual. You're just a cog in the machine sort of thing.
Which is just not, I don't think that's okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting. That stuff is coming more to the forefront where you only can work yourself so hard for insert reason here. You can't just run yourself ragged and expect to continue to live normally. And not even just as an individual, but even for the team, even for the company. If your employees are hitting that breaking point, then obviously it's not going to be healthy for anybody. So we should try to work towards, I guess, monitoring for that or like helping prevent people getting to that point, because like one of the morals of the story of one of our episodes. It's like being part of a team is supposed to be like a two-way street.
Yeah.
And you need both parts of that relationship to have respect, and everyone needs to work together. Like, yes, in Natsuko's case, she is carrying everything. The rest of the team is basically just sitting there doing nothing. And that's her fault. She's creating that. That's not like the work culture. But then you have the opposite where work is like, you are less than what the company is. So if it's required that you fucking like die to make sure the company lives, then that is what you should do. And obviously both of those extremes aren't healthy at all.
Yeah.
There's a balance there. And that is what we should strive for, where we're all working together. Some days you're going to have to do a little bit of extra work. Some days the company can help pick up some slack and help you relax. There needs to be trades. Yeah. And just like anything, it's never like a straight line where the balance is always just like fucking straight and it never tips at all.
Yeah.
You have the ebbs and flows of life that happen. Mm-hmm. Both sides should be equally working hard and benefiting from the relationship.
Yeah, so 100%. And that's, I feel like most places that I work with or work at, it's just exploitative, because that's what the service industry really is exploitative in general, in my opinion, after working in it for 20 fucking 5 years almost.
I wouldn't even say just the service industry. I would actually say like almost global work culture.
It is like 100%. You obliterate your life and your mental health and your physical well-being for the sake of financial freedom. How can you obliterate your competition? That's like almost like pitting a human against a human to see who comes out on top because of sheer willpower. I think that would be a better storyline than what we're watching. And I hope it gets there.
I think it's rare that, like, I've only worked for one company that I feel like gave the correct amount of balance. And even though every other company I've worked for in my life has said that work-life balance is their priority, none of them delivered on what that was.
My entry into the work system, it is literally my first job was working at the movie theater. And I was 15 years old, and I had my dad who worked in tire and truck repair of like 18-wheelers and shit like that.
Shout out to diesel mechanics, boys. Let's go.
Dude, that shit is insane. Literally, like, they will break your back and then they will throw you to the street because you are worth nothing. And that's literally what happened to my dad. But what my entry was, I would work and they would say, hey, we have to work late. We have to do all this stuff. And I would literally have to go to school the next morning at 8 a.m. You weren't supposed to work past, like, I think it was 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night was the rule. I would be working till 2 and 3 in the morning, guaranteed, every single night. And regularly my dad would wait outside after my schedule was done, sleep in the car, wait for me to get off work, and then pick me up. And then he would go to work at 6 in the morning. I think that there should be companies that are literally dedicated to ensuring the safety of employees around the world.
One of those companies is called OSHA, and they are overseeing Jinwoo's mining escapades in episode 5 of Solo Leveling Season 2.
Dude, let's go.
Just to backtrack a little bit, we left our hero. He was looking at the boss gate, and then Hey In was like, hey, good smelling boy, what are you doing?
Oh my God, you smell so good. Can I smell you more?
That's what happened last episode, right? Yeah. Beginning of this episode, it
was a banger.
Jinwoo tells Hey In that he's lost. He thinks to himself, oh shit, I got careless. I didn't even notice her until she started talking. I must be losing my edge. I'm 2 days from retiring. She said to leave because the boss could wipe out the mining team. And he was like, you right, boo, and walks past her. She gets that whiff of sweet, sweet Jinwoo mining musk and tells him to wait. She runs up, smells him again, and says that he doesn't stink, and asks if he's a hunter. And he's like, well, technically I am. And she reads his lanyard, and it says, E-rank hunter man.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, don't get lost on your way back, E-rank hunter man.
His name tag literally says Jinwoo E rank hunter winky face. And she's like, "Oh wow, you seem so strong for an E rank hunter. Look at those muscles. Are you sure that you could find your way back by yourself? Are you going to be here tomorrow? Should you come in early to hang out with me?"
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, maybe if you might get lost in my pants." And he's like, "No, I don't. No, I gotta go.
I got some stuff going on.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he smells good. Back with the minor boys. They're like, "Damn, Jinwoo, you talk to Hei-in like we just got a jerk off from the shadows." And then they say that she patrols every day during break to make sure that they are protected from the dungeon mob.
Yeah.
Another dude says that she doesn't like the way hunters smell, and she has some unique condition, and that's why she always has a handkerchief over her face.
God, it's so weird.
Super weird. Some
Wear a
genetic
mask.
thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that seems normal too.
Right.
Jinwoo thinks that Barca said something similar, and it's because he's the player that makes him smell different. They're done with the job, and the mining boss is like, "Woo, we finished early. Dude, Jinwoo, you're a fucking natural at hitting rocks with another object," and offered him a full-time job. But Jinwoo declines, and he's like, yeah, I understand. He asks Jinwoo if he wants to do one more day because they have a back-to-back A rank, C rank gate that they need to mine.
Yeah, buddy.
Jinwoo was like, "Tomorrow, let me check my schedule." And then he's like, "Wait, 2 different guilds? Oh, man." And then the guy was like, "I'll pay you double because you're so good." Jinwoo was like, yeah, he is doing this, I think, to get access to the A rank dungeon so he can sell the Spear of Avarice and make it seem like he found it while he was mining, right?
Yes.
Hei-in is lying half naked in her apartment.
Damn, Greg, do you say that every time somebody's laying in their apartment by themselves? You're like, "That's so-and-so half naked.
Yeah.
Legs exposed." She's not she's not having. She's literally.
Okay, I'm half naked right now.
Okay,
Do I have pants on? No one knows.
I know for a fact. We stood up earlier and we posed.
Well, that was like an hour ago.
That was 2 hours ago.
A lot could happen in 2 hours.
Okay, yeah, it's true. It's true. I did walk away from the computer.
Hei-in is in her apartment. She calls the guild to do research into Jinwoo. And the guy on the phone is like, "Hey, ma'am, I'm just part of the comms team here. I don't have any jurisdiction for this." And she's like, "No, look into Jinwoo." And he says the guild master already asked him to look into Jinwoo.
And his file's locked.
He says they already have a lock on his file, even though he isn't a top hunter and he's never seen anything like this before.
And we just get a fucking zoom in of toes.
Yeah, she lays in her bed again, half naked, and realizes something is up.
What is going on?
I don't know.
What I'm talking about is like every time somebody has to look out of a building, if it's a dude, it's like broad chest, pectorals up, looking out over the city. And if it's a girl, it's like, check out these fucking toes, dude. And you're like, why did I have to look at that? Like, I could have just saw her looking over the city. And if it is her looking over the city, I mean, her titties could choke her out because her bust is just up to neck level every time. I just don't understand the body proportions and what we're hypersexualizing in the weirdest fucking ways, dude.
Body proportions aside, she lays down in bed and says she's met so many hunters and he is the only one that smells good.
How do you get through life when everybody smells like a fucking sewer? You know what I mean?
Only hunters. If she went to like 7-Eleven, I guess it would just, normal people smell fine, but it's just hunters that smell bad.
I guess.
She has 3 books on her bedside.
Mm-hmm.
Rituals and Traditions, Secrets of the Manor, and Faces of Humanity. I don't know why they showed it. I just wrote it down because they, for some reason, took the time to animate it and show it.
They're going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Jinwoo shows up the next day to the mining team, and they remind him of his original party before he died. Him, Johei, and Sung.
Yeah, the homies, dude.
The old homies. First is the C rank dungeon, and Jinwoo is literally just blasting rocks. And the mining foreman is like, "You sure you don't want to work for us? 5 times normal amount." And Jinwoo is like, "No." It's literally like a cartoon. He's hitting a rock, and then it's just shrapnel.
Yeah, exploding backwards.
So then Son Ki-hoon of the A rank strike team, so new character, shows up and asks the mining foreman if he can spare a guy, since their equipment carrier was a no-show. He says it's hazard pay, and they'll be joining the team, and none of the miners want to do it. Jinwoo was like, I'll do it. I'll do everything. His hair was really long in front of his face.
So I have a question when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
We, as the people watching Jinwoo boy band beat everyone's ass all the time, are losing track of how difficult these gates are and how dangerous this stuff is. Because all we're doing is watching Jinwoo do backflips and cut shit in half.
I will agree to an extent. I will say that this episode, and we'll get into it a little bit more later, as the viewer, I'm behind Jinwoo. I always feel safe. I know nothing bad is going to happen because Jinwoo's there and he'll just fuck everything up. But I will say that in this episode, I did feel the gravity of that gate. Even though Jinwoo was there, and I know that nothing bad is going to happen, they did a good job of conveying that kind of emotion of helplessness back to the viewer, even though I know I'm protected by Jinwoo.
See, that's the issue, is that if this was any other circumstance, we should know about this. If Jinwoo was not here, this would be on the news, that 20 people died in a gate. And that's important for us to know because you're building a world that is dangerous. It feels like the only way that it's not dangerous is when Jinwoo is around, and he's around all the time because we are the viewer. That loses some of the world building to me.
I agree. I'm not saying this is making it up at all, but as whoever's telling this story, I did feel the feeling of dread a little bit, not to the extent of like the first episode of Attack on Titan, for example.
Right. I get you.
But,
okay.
So the miners are surprised and said that, no, Jinwoo, the extra money isn't worth it. Why does everyone assume Jinwoo's in it for the money? Because everyone's literally doing it. But Jinwoo's like, nah, I'll be okay. They get to the gate, and it's big. It's the biggest gate I've ever seen.
Dude, it's so big.
And Son Ki-hoon says that they are the secondary strike team, so there shouldn't be too many hard things left for them after the first team went in. There are 6 A ranks, 3 B ranks, no S ranks, and a Jinwoo. Jinwoo is surprised the guild can field 2 high-level teams like this at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So they enter the gate, and Jinwoo says there is less magic, but he's getting a bad feeling about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the red gate. One of the hunter chicks is like, oh, Jinwoo, if you don't run off, you'll be A-okay. And he's like, yep, sounds good.
Hey, thanks. I really appreciate that. That was really nice of you.
He then thinks after this dungeon, he will be able to make captain rank. They all get ready to fight. And then a bunch of dungeon jackals come out. And they blast them. And they all wonder why dungeon jackals are in this A rank gate. Because dungeon jackals are C rank monsters. Jinwoo looks at one of the corpses and says they have collars. So maybe they were kept alive as hunting dogs for something stronger. Then a whole group of high orcs come out. One throws a javelin and breaks Son Ki-hoon's shield. Another guy tries to taunt, but they ignore him and jump the backline.
Mm-hmm.
Another girl tries to CC them, but they're too strong. And then another guy summons fire soldiers similar to Jinwoo's Shadow Army, and they get fucked.
They get fucking railed.
Son Ki-hoon says one high orc is hard for an A rank party, but there are so many of them. And then the B ranks start to get cut up, literally just chopped in half.
Well, yeah, that guy gets fucking...
He gets his arm cut off and they regrow.
Okay, so like, here's the thing, is like the difficulty of this dungeon is shown to a rank squad, and like they're struggling. Everybody's really like, okay, there's what, 20 fucking high orcs, and one high orc they said would be difficult for an A rank squad. Well, they are an A rank squad and they're fighting 20 of them.
Yeah, and they're getting fucked.
And they're not doing bad.
Oh, they're doing awful. Are you crazy?
I mean,
I don't even think they killed one of them yet. And then they already cut some fucking B rank arm off, and one hit broke Son Ki-hoon's shield.
Yeah, but he's still standing up and fighting one.
Oh yeah, he's still fighting, but like they're not.
All right, the hierarch time to kill is really, really slow. Okay, this is what I'm watching right now. Because like, if you're gonna bring despair into it, I want to see these people get fucking like destroyed. But also, again, I'm just seeing Jinwoo do nothing.
He's literally standing there.
Yeah. And this dude gets his arm chopped off, and he's like, oh shit, maybe I should probably, I guess I'll help out.
Yeah. But as the orcs descend upon the group, Jinwoo literally Sub-Zero fatalities one of them and rips its head off with its spine intact.
Yeah. Oh, like Ruler's hand grasps its neck and fucking explodes the neckline muscle, and then it's just the spine flopping. And it's just, you're like, okay, chill. Damn, dude.
Jinwoo literally teleport cuts everyone up to weaken them so the A rank team can beat them. But no one can see Jinwoo because he's so cool.
He's so cool.
Yeah, he's so bad boy. No one saw him. Everyone notices the monsters are slower and weaker and are like, oh, well, I guess we just fucking beat him. I called her the tentacle glasses chick.
Tentacle glasses chick. Okay.
Yeah, the one that looks like a maid or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was the one that CC'd that tried to tentacle hold the guy, right? Okay. Yeah. She noticed Jinwoo was using stealth, but not that he was like running around chopping shit. And she was just like, all right, well, I guess he has his reasons for just stealthing. Oh, well, I'll just forget about it. They decide to pull out. But then when they get to the gate, there is a barrier blocking them.
They convince him to say like, hey, this is really dangerous. We could all die here. If we go further in, we have to go back. Like, let's get out of here. But the maid girl does turn around. She's like, he has his reasons for being in stealth and something happened, but like he must assume that we mages didn't fucking notice that he went into stealth because we're mages. We would know that. And so she's understanding that Jinwoo probably saved them, but has his reasons for not saying anything.
I don't know why they spent so much time on that, to be honest, but
it's true.
Okay, they decide to pull out. They get to the gate, but there's a barrier blocking them. The mages try to dispel the barrier, but it's cursed, and they all start bleeding from their eyes. Then they turn around, and then there's an entire army of high. And this was the part where I'm like, okay, I think the high orcs are pretty intimidating as creatures. So just as a viewer looking at the high orcs, I'm like, okay, that looks pretty scary. I think that's a scary looking mob to fight.
Terrifying.
Against. I think they did a good job of displaying how menacing the high orcs are. But again, I don't necessarily feel unsafe because Jinwoo's there. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's probably just going to kill them all and arise them. Like, that's what, anytime there's any danger, I'm like, Jinwoo's going to kill it and then arise it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
100%.
He goes to 7-Eleven and then, like, some dude is like comes in and wants to like give me all the money out of the register. Jinwoo's gonna kill him, and then he's gonna arise him, and then
he's gonna make the shadow say sorry.
He's gonna have the shadow employed at 7-Eleven, and then he'll he'll work for $7 an hour.
My bad. Yeah. Oh, fate worse than death.
Yeah.
I agree, and that's also what frustrates me is like if you were going to write. If I was going to personally write Solo Leveling, I would have had him join a guild and have some semblance of like trying to keep others alive that means something to him rather than these people that are fucking meaningless.
He is in this weird Korean bad boy way. Like he is still keeping him alive because the reason why like he respects Son Ki-hoon because he's like, okay, he made a good decision as a leader, get everyone back. All these people are working as a team. They look like they're doing good. He's like, I've never seen an A-ranked team work together. Like these guys, well-oiled machines. Like, fuck yeah.
They are not a well-oiled machine. Jinwoo could literally solo this fucking dungeon. That's the problem that I have continuously.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, God damn it. Like, here's the thing. If you're going to make him overpowered, don't make him everywhere that he needs to be all at once. This is the whole point of why I love Gojo as a character, is that he being everywhere all at once is the whole point, that they have to stop him so that they can do the rest of the bullshit that they have to do. Characters are dying around him because he cannot be all powerful. But Sung Jin-woo is all powerful at all times. It's just the Gojo show. And nothing goes wrong. Nobody stops him. Nobody's like, oh, you should fucking seal that guy away. He's just like, I'm hidden in the shadows. And that's literally the show.
I'm not going to debate you on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Song Ki-hoon realizes if they try to fight the High Orc army now, they're all going to die. So he wants to talk to their leader. And the one orc that walks up to him starts glitching out. I assume it's like uploading the human language to its database so it can talk or something like that.
No, it's just Kargalgan taking over his bait. What?
Is that what was happening?
Yeah, no, there's no, because the glitch, his neck is moving and stuff, but it's not doing the actual glitch like the software in the Matrix type of thing.
It looked like it to me. Like when it looked very similar to how Barca reacted.
But Barca also says the line, and then when it happens, it like rewinds. That's not happening here.
No, but he was glitching.
A little bit. He was like breaking his neck. He was trying to crump, dude.
So the orc crumped
super hard.
So the orcs were crumping, and then Ki-hoon asks if Kargalgan blocked the entrance, and he said, yes, I am a master of orcish curses, and says, you will meet up with me or you will die. And Ki-hoon decides to parlay. Ki-hoon tells Jinwoo, when they start fighting the boss, the barrier will probably go down, so leave and get help. And Ki-hoon says that their goal isn't to survive, but it's to make sure that the gate closes. The healer chick asks Jinwoo to take her will to her family and says he wasn't trained for this and this is their job. So for him to get out of there alive. Hei-in shows up to the mining site looking for Jinwoo on her day off in her young drip or whatever you call clothes.
Hold on, real quick. There is no glitch over the orc's face. I'm looking at it over here just to confirm because I did make sure to put that into the mental note of this episode. It's not the same as Barca. Specifically, it has nothing to do with the player and the architect at all.
Okay. Hei-in, day off, shows up to the mine, and the mining foreman is like, why the fuck are you here? He's like, isn't it your day off? Like, why are you hanging out here? She says she's looking for Jinwoo, and he says he's a carrier inside of the gate. Then it cuts to inside of the gate. The orcs take all of the hunters to the orc hall, I guess, and to the head orc, Kargalgan.
Kargalgan these nuts. Got him, fucking bitch. Got him.
And then you have all the orcs. You have Kargalgan, and then he has his 4 elite guards on each side of him, looking all menacing, relaxing in his throne because the world is so easy in the palm of his hand. And that's it.
That's where it is.
So
and he says, welcome, human worms.
Yeah.
So we get a glimpse of what it's like to be a regular ass dude in this world. Like I said, I want more of this and less of Sung Jin-woo, boy band, god, king, running around just doing hood rat shit constantly. Because at the end of the day, if the world is in danger, I don't feel at all that the world is in danger because the world has Sung Jin-woo.
I'm thinking back to episode 1, season 1, where they're explaining the whole world of hunters and how when you're born, you take your hunter test and get assigned a hunter rank, and whatever rank that is what you're always going to be all the time.
Yep. Right? That's also frustrating to me because we all know like that with hard work and determination, you can break through those barriers in certain degrees.
The reason I bring it up is because we do see these other heroes when they're in the dungeon and they're fighting the orcs and they're getting their shit kicked in or whatever. And Jinwoo, he does make the comment like, look at these guys, they're working really good together. It's nice to have a team. This is the strongest that team will ever be. They will never get stronger. Those heroes will never rank up. They will just forever continue doing whatever rank dungeon that they're supposed to be doing for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
And that's it. So yeah, I mean, for some reason, that's why nothing else matters, because in the beginning of the show, they set that hard stop where if you see anyone else, it's like they will never be better than what they are. So I don't know if that was some weird thing they did where they don't really have to fucking develop anyone else because they just slap a rank on it and just being like, okay, this guy's an A rank. He'll never be an S rank. So he's never going to hang out with these fucks over here. He's never going to do a cool dungeon. He's never going to do anything. But then Jinwoo is the only one in the entire world that basically is unlocked from this restriction of never growing as an individual ever in life.
Yeah, I think that is the issue I have with this. In an MMO, we all gain levels, strength, experience, and gain knowledge and gain understanding and gain whatever you need to do. And you have milestones that you're hitting until you could do the next thing. This is what the world of solo leveling is based on what an MMO would be. But they tried to put a restriction on the idea that everybody has a stop, a very hard stop on what strength they have and that they're born with. And I think that feels like it fuels the unimportance of the world that Sun Jinwoo lives in.
Using your example of the MMO, and even using Jinwoo's own words of him saying that he's the player in more ways than one. Everyone is an NPC.
Everybody. Every single person.
Everyone in this world is like an NPC. Like, I'm trying to relate this world to ours and insert myself into the story, but I have to look at this story as a video game. Like, Jinwoo is the player in a video game, and literally everyone else is an NPC.
And that's what frustrates me so much, is because everybody else is meaningless because Jinwoo exists. And that's why solo leveling is literal full-on main character plot armor fantasy, the show now. And it frustrates me because the stakes are zero. And then what is worth saving? What does it matter? Because if everybody else on Earth dies, who fucking cares as long as Sun Jinwoo exists? He could be in a coma for the next 20 years and let all of these whatever, these gates unleash, Earth could be destroyed, and he comes out and he's like, you know what'd be sick? If I just fucking cut everybody up and everybody's fucking dead instantly. And then he's like summoning fucking dudes out of everybody's asshole, and then he creates all these shadows that are his friends now. It's that.
What we are doing, watching solo leveling, this is crazy. We've like inceptioned ourselves, because watching solo leveling and watching Jinwoo is like watching Twitch and someone playing a video game, and we're watching them play the video game. Jinwoo is a Twitch streamer, and we're all watching him play the game.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, that's a good analogy of it, because a lot of people do watch streamers because of various different reasons: humor, or entertainment, or skill, or knowledge, whatever reason you have for watching the stream, or whatever reason you guys are here hanging out with us. And I think this show is a prime example of when somebody's too good at something, it becomes boring to watch.
Jinwoo is the streamer that's really, really good at the game, but he's not conversing with chat. He'll get 3 million followers, and then his dark power sword will...
Yeah, shit, yeah, dude. Anyways, so I like solo leveling. Don't get me wrong. I still like it. The more that I consume solo leveling as a medium, the less I enjoy it. Because one, the game sucks. The solo leveling Arise game is just not good. It's a gacha game for gacha's sake. The show itself is not expanding on the world. It is just the story of solo leveling. Now, here's something that when they finish solo leveling, maybe they go into another part of it. But again, you have the importance of whatever anyone else does in this world is fucking negligible.
And that's the thing too. I don't dislike solo leveling. I think it's fine. It's cool. I think it's a cool thing to watch. Now, is it some deep existential discussion we should have? Like Zenshu, where I'm picking up the crumbs and trying to figure out what the writers are, like the hidden meaning behind everything?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think this is literally just something you watch. The fights are cool, and Jinwoo's doing his thing, and you're just there watching what's happening, and, you know, it's fine. I think the intrigue from season 1 is gone from season 2. At this point, it's kind of tough. When I'm taking notes now, I guess it's not as fun, because the only fun part for me, I guess, is just making fun of how Heian sniffs Jinwoo, right? That's like basically like what all my notes are. Because there isn't really anything to dissect from the story at all. The story is just like Jinwoo goes in, he fucking cuts shit up, he arises it, then he goes to the next place, and then he cuts shit up, and then he arises that, and then he goes to the next place, and then he cuts it up, and then he arises that. He goes to the Demon City, he cuts stuff up, but he can't arise. Oh, damn, okay. And that's it. That's the story. So, like, taking notes is kind of boring for Solo Leveling because I don't really inject my own thought process or my own feelings or my own predictions into it because there's nothing to predict. It's Jinwoo cuts shit up and then he arises.
I'm going to equate Solo Leveling to the feeling of playing Monster Hunter. Okay. So whenever you play Monster Hunter and you're approached with a new monster, the difficulty is amped up incrementally. You have to learn new tactics. You have to understand the unknown, like approaching a monster for the first time. Solo Leveling, he is approaching every monster being superior to it almost immediately because of either his work before or his ability to be the player. It's less important that he use his own strength because we've already known that his own strength got him killed. Something has intervened. It is no longer about his upbringing, his strength, his determination. It's less about that. It minimizes the struggle of a normal human being and shows you what it's like to be fucking privileged as fuck. That is literally what the show is. It's like he inherited $6 billion when he died that day. And then he's like, I'm going to be fucking beautiful. I'm going to be on Ozempic. I'm going to go to the fucking gym 12 hours a day. And then I'm also going to get these really cool daggers as accessories. And then also these girls are going to smell my Gucci cologne and also check out the range, dude. I got the Jeep Wrangler limited edition. And then I also got the range at home. And then also I'm going to hang out. And it's like, whatever, man.
In season 1, you got to see his abilities. He has an inventory, something that nobody has. He has all these side quests he has to do. Nobody has that. I know you can argue the reason why Jinwoo is in such good shape because he probably does his daily quest of 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups that they just don't show in all the episodes. This is finally like his hard work of doing push-ups paid off and now he's ripped as fuck. Got it, whatever.
But at the end of the day, none of this would have happened if the architect didn't intervene. There is an otherworldly instance of intervening into Jinwoo's life that has created his rise to power. It's not even about his own hard work or his own work ethic or anything like that. Like, he had that work ethic before. He wanted to save his parents. He wanted to be there for his family. He wanted to save his sister. He wanted to like do all this stuff. And he couldn't. He couldn't. There was a hard stop to that. He died trying to do that. That's admirable. That's like, he tried to do it on his own 2 legs. And then the world came and was like, no, not yet. And then he became strong. And it's like, if he had gotten out and then he was like, okay, I have to rethink this. I have to break the mold. I have to do this myself. And it wasn't some fucking like background thing where he's just a puppet. It's weird to me.
So there we go. All your episode 5s for these animes.
Greg, what are you enjoying the most right now?
100 Girlfriends.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, if I had to choose from the 4 that we are currently doing as our main discussion point, probably Solo Leveling just because of the fighting.
Yeah, the fighting is really good.
Zenshu's starting to ramp a little bit. So I'm getting more invested into Zenshu. Next week when we talk about episode 6, I feel like it's starting to get some traction, but that's the thing about some of these animes. For you to gain momentum halfway through the series makes me a little bit sad because I only have 6 episodes of momentum left before it's gone. It's like I guess it's good and bad, I suppose. But yeah, right now I'd probably say Solo Leveling, Zenshu. Ubel Blatt has no momentum. It actually is like a car that has squares for tires. And I'm not talking about like the fucking Mythbusters square tire where the thing is actually moving. It's like, no, they actually put concrete squares as tires and it is just tearing itself apart.
Yeah.
Ishura is like when you were a kid and then your parents are like, okay, go to the fucking soda fountain, get what any soda you want. And you're just like, man, I can't drink a cup of every single soda. I want each one. hey, I'm just going to mix them all together. And then you just create your suicide drink of all the sodas together, and then you sit down and drink it. That's Ishura. It's like, you don't get any good thing out of any individual soda. They're all just mixed together in this weird fucking concoction of high fructose corn syrup and sugar. And then you go play DDR for 8 hours.
You are exactly correct.
That's it.
Yeah. Greg, how's that outro looking?
That's you.
Oh, I'm doing well, you know what? Watch this, bitch. Watch this shit. No. Watch this shit, bitch. Hey, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate all of you hanging out with me, myself, and my shadows, also known as my regrets, which there are so many, and my buddy Greg. We really hope you enjoy the episode and enjoy, the IT aesthetics that we bring to your table. By the way, Greg, give us a little turnaround. Nice. I'm going to turn around. Give me a second. Peep this shit. Look at that shit. It's sick. It's sick as fuck. Use tab C10. Check out IT-aesthetics. Greg? Oh, it's my moral. That's right. I'm just going to keep talking now. So the moral of the story is, when the world influences you with $6 million in a Jeep Wrangler, limited edition Steel Series redemption arc, don't squander it by being the worst. At least make it pretty exciting. The actual moral of the story is just don't squander what time we have on this earth. Be true to yourself and be true to the people you care about. The other people can go suck a bag of dicks. Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!